Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a new playthrough on the channel. We're going to remember that it's actually supposed to be New Game November when I'm supposed to be debuting a few new games on the channel. Our new game today is taking us back to World War II Europe, and our goal of assassinating our favorite German psycho, or our favorite Austrian psychopath, actually, as we were playing Valkyrie, a Black Orchestra game from Tabletop Tycoon. Just like in the original, and just like in Black Orchestra, our goal here, you guessed it, is to assassinate Hitler. Philip figured he'd come in and say hi before going to bed. Well, hopefully you get some good sleep, Philip. It's going to be a busy day. I'm planning on streaming at least one more time today. I do have to run some errands today, but I am planning on streaming at least one more time before Jester and I get back together a little bit later for Christmas and to continue Christmas in Arkham with the Fate of the Elder Gods tournament. Sorry, you may be able to hear in the background as well. I've got a print job churning because I've been placing some. And now it's just settling in. I'm going to let the signal stay steady. Okay. As I was saying, oh criminy! Why does it keep disconnecting on me this morning? Yeah, I don't know what's going on this morning. Some problems with the laptop, it looks like. Like I said, though, I do have a print job churning in the background that I'll be checking on. So we'll go through our characters that we're playing as. They might be a little bit hard to see, but for our first character is Colonel Klaus von Stauffenberg, Staff Officer Ersatzseher, and I had 4 reroll tokens. I can use those to reroll my dice. That'll make more sense a little bit later. Special ability to roll 4 dice at the start of your turn instead of 3. He'll be our first player. And again, if you hear me pause, I'm listening for the print job. Then we've also got General... Hold on. I think my camera froze up on me. There we go. Okay, so let's try this again, shall we? Colonel Klaus von Stauffenberg, Staff Officer Ersatzseher. Special ability to roll 4 dice at the start of my turn instead of 3. And I've got 4 reroll tokens that I can use to reroll all of my dice. That's 3 for the difficulty, plus another 1 more. Actually, is it 2 or 3 for the difficulty? 3 for easy. Plus 1 if only playing with 1 or 2 players. Okay. So that means our other character should have a 4th token as well. He'll get that momentarily. And then I'm going to put Stauffenberg on the Cthulhu button, being his turn. And then we'll meet his partner today, General Ludwig Beck, Chief of the General Staff. During your turn, as a special ability, place allies when you have 2 targets instead of 3 on the recruitment track. And then speaking of allies, I believe they should start face up, I believe. They do. Okay, reveal the first 4. So our first ally that we have to choose from is Admiral Wilhelm Canaris. As an action, discard an item to remove a Gestapo file. Keeping the Gestapo off our trail, our next ally is Lieutenant Fabian von Schlabrendorf. As an action, take an item from any conspirator. Next up, Major General Henning von Treschow. Action, remove a Gestapo file, 1 per turn. And Colonel Albrecht von Kornheim. As an action, move to any location. So we've got our various locations here. We are starting up at Benderblock, and we've got our favorite German psychopaths. We've got, of course, Hitler. These are actually the pieces from Black Orchestra. But as long as we got the right psychopaths, I'm not going to pick a fight about it. He starts down here at the Berghof. Then at Wolfschanz, we've got Himmler. And finally at Wilhelmstrasse, we've got Goebbels. I'm going to go check on the print job since it just stopped. I will be right back. Sorry about that, had to get the print job going. Now, let me look at these location tokens and see what they represent. Carry out the plot at a cost of an action. Discard the access item and any other. Okay. Just gotta double check what the locations mean and how those get flipped. Okay. I'm sure I'm going to be learning the game as I go, as you can probably imagine. I believe that probably indicates the equal to or greater than the quantity shown. Okay, so that's what that means. Right now in the private office, we need 4 dice. The admin office in Wilhelmstrasse, the theater, and the war room all take 3. Anlage Sud, Wolfschanze, and the bomb shelter each require 2 right now. So I think we are all set. Let's jump into this game. I'm going to see if I can... I might want to put the dice tower on this side, I think. Yes, I think that'll work a little bit better. So, we start off by resolving an interrogation if we share a space with an enemy, but we don't share a space with an enemy at the start of the game, so we'll go into rolling 3 dice. Because of Stauffenberg, we actually get to roll 4 dice. Come here. Ugh. Okay, so that gives me 2 targets, which will actually let us recruit an ally, which will let us recruit an ally on Beck's turn, and we get 2 actions back, which is pretty good. So as an action, or actually I have an option to either switch those I can either add those to the recruitment track or switch them to an action. Fortunately, I didn't roll any eagles, so I don't have to resolve an interrogation card. I can do 1 action for each of those. So Stauffenberg with 2 actions is going to move over. How are these spaces connected is my next question. Okay. So he's going to move from Bender block. I do want him to move. I'm just trying to figure out how. To an adjacent location connected by... Okay, so I think everything in Berlin is adjacent to each other, which is where we are in Berlin. So I'm going to move to the Chancellery for 1. And for 2, I'm going to move down to the War Room in Wolfschlacht. That'll be it for Stauffenberg. Now I'll move over to Beck. Into his turn, once again, doesn't share a space. He can recruit an ally, but I believe, when does recruitment happen? Will also be critical. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out when. If there are ever 3 dice, remove them and place 1 of the allies. So we do get to, so actually now that it is his turn, we get to pull the 2 dice away and recruit 1 of these allies. We will put We'll put Colonel Albrecht von Quernheim, we'll put him over at Bendler block. And then do allies get replaced immediately? Let me look here. So if there are... Remove them and replace one of the available ally tiles in any open space. Any additional allies. So I'm just trying to figure out how allies get replaced. Or if they do. An action. Okay. There are ever 3 dice. Any additional targets rolled may then be placed on the track. I'm trying to find... Utilize an ally. That's not what I want to find out. I'm going to see if I can look this up on BGG. My guess is that allies do get replaced, but I'm not entirely sure of that. So let's find out. Because it's not clearly explained in our rule sheet. In fact, just to show you, when it comes to rules, this is what we've got. So let's see if I can find out at the allies. Oh, here we go. So do you ever get access to... You're supposed to refill the ally display and roll the dice during a plot. Okay, so during a plot is when they get replaced. Good to know. Alright. So now we'll roll for Beck's turn. Wow. So we'll turn that into an action, but Beck has to resolve 2 interrogation cards. So we'll give these a quick shuffle. Just so you guys know I'm not up to any funny business here. Even though I shuffled this when I set it up yesterday afternoon. I was intending to play this game yesterday, but I decided, you know what, I'm going to wait until... I decided, you know what, I'm going to wait and make this my first game tomorrow, especially since I knew the second group in the Fate of the Elder Gods tournament was going to be long. So I decided, okay, we'll just wait and deal with it then. We'll wait and play this today. Okay. So here's our first interrogation card for Beck. Tell us what you know. He's got it. So he'll have to discard. He can resolve A to add a file token, then flip Berghoff to side B. Discard an ally at your location and 1 reroll token, or C to resist. To roll a die. On an action, no effect, target or eagle resolve both of them, and the event moves Hitler to the Berghoff, except he's already there. I think we're going to add a file token, then we'll flip Berghoff to side B. So right now it takes 3 dice, and when we flip it over, now it takes 5 dice. Now it takes 5 targets. Yikes. But that's only the first interrogation for Beck, so he's got a second one he's got to deal with. This time is remove a file token, then remove the stack of items in your location from the game. B is to flip the Smolensk venue token to side B, or roll a die, try to resist. And the event's going to move Himmler to Smolensk, but I'll deal with that in a minute. I think we are going to flip Smolensk to side B. So that will make it require 3 dice. And then for 1 action, Beck is going to move to the Chancellery. Over to Stauffenberg's turn. No interrogation since we don't share a space. We'll get 4 dice. We'll get these two out. Wow, 4 targets. I'm going to turn at least one of them into an action, and then I will use the other 3 to recruit. The other 3 to recruit with will be Major General Hennig von Tresco. I'll put him at the Wolfschlacht. And then for his 1 action, I am going to grab an item. I shuffled these last night, so I'll just take the one off the top we will find. A uniform provides access to the plot in Anlage Sud. I don't know if you might not be able to see the board very well, but there are item markers on the board. So we need these for access to, so we need some of these items for access. All right, that's it for Stauffenberg's turn. Now we're over to Beck's turn. No interrogation since we don't share a space. Roll our 3 dice. Okay, I don't hate that, so I'll keep the target there. And then Beck gets to take 2 actions. So for action 1, he is going to move to Wolfschanze. Action 2, he's going to move down to Anlage Sud. And I'm going to take a small break before we continue. I will be right back once again. Okay, sorry about that. Had a bit of an emergency I had to deal with. Anyway, speaking of emergencies, I'm going to go check on the print job again before we jump in. Just the price of bouncing around. Sorry about that again. Now back to Stauffenberg, We don't have an interrogation because we don't share a space with an enemy. He gets 4 dice. Three actions and a recruitment die, which I'm actually going to turn that into an action as well. So we get 4 actions. Let's see. I'm going to use Henny von Tresco's action to remove a file token for action 1. Then for action 2, I'm going to search for I'm going to take an item. So I'll collect a random item we will find. Stamp, which gives me access to a plot in Wolfschanze, which is where Himmler is. Action 3 will be to move to the terrace. Action 4 will move over to Anlage Sud. And then that'll be it for Stauffenberg's turn. Now we're over to Beck. No interrogations, and he doesn't share a space. 2 actions and an interrogation, which we can probably deal with. So yeah, we'll take the interrogation. That's our main lose condition, by the way, is if the interrogation deck runs out. Or we also lose if we fill up the file down here. So, our interrogation. Tell us what you know. Add a file token, then flip the Anlage Sud venue token to option B. Then the side B. Option B, discard an item token and a reroll token. Then we move Hitler to Anlage Sud. Oh dear. So Stauffenberg is going to be facing an interrogation. We're going to add a file token, then flip Anlage Sud to side B. So that will now require 3 dice. That's not terrible. That'll require 3 targets. That's not terrible. Then we have 2 actions for Beck. Action 1, he's going to get the hell out of there. He's going to go up to Smolensk. And action 2, he's going to collect a random item he will find. Explosives. Add 3 dice to your plot with a detonator. Okay. Over to Stauffenberg. Unfortunately for him, he's starting in a space with Hitler, so he's got to resolve an interrogation. Add a file token, then flip Smolensk to side B, except it already got flipped. Option B is to remove the stack of items at your current location from the game. Ugh. Option C to resist, and Hitler goes after Beck now up to Smolensk. I think we're going to have to choose option B to remove the stack of items at the location from the game. That is very unfortunate. And then we roll dice. That's 2 actions and 2 targets, which... So we lost access to everything at Anlage Sud, which is going to be a problem. Let's turn both of those into actions, so that'll give Stauffenberg 4 actions. Action 1, he's going to move over to the Berghoff. Action 2, he'll search through the item stack to see what's here. We've got a newspaper that can send Goebbels or Himmlers anywhere. Coffee to roll 2 extra dice this turn, but not for plots. Intel to cancel Hitler's movement. 2 detonators and a pistol. The detonators goes under explosives. We'll give those a shuffle, since it does specify to randomize them. Okay. Then action 3, we're going to collect a random item, so here we will find a newspaper, so we can chase Goebbels or Himmler off. Action 4 will collect another item we will find. A detonator, so if we can get that over to Beck, we might be able to try an assassination. Over to Beck, though, and he's got an interrogation because he's got Hitler right there with him. Add a file token, then move a conspirator to Himmler's location. Remove a venue token from the game and a reroll token. Venue token being what? What is a venue token? Let's see. Oh, here we go. Venue token. Somebody else asked about it on the Geek. The circle token referred to in setup as location tiles. So that would mean that we would take one of these locations off the board, which means we wouldn't be able to do anything with it. So I'm going to add a file token. And then I'm going to move Stauffenberg to Himmler's location. It says move a conspirator. I'm going to assume that I'm going to roll at least one action. Let's see what's Stauffenberg. Actually, that's Beck's turn. So actually, it's Beck's turn, so I'm going to move... So it's a conspirator, so I'm going to move him to Wolfschanze. Same logic. Figuring I'll be able to roll at least one action to get Beck out of there. Which I roll exactly one action, but I'm actually going to change one of those into an action for Beck. I'll take the target up here. And then I'll recruit Ludwig Fabian von Schlabrendorf. I'll put him at Wolfschanze. Action 1, he's going to take the detonator from Stauffenberg, which that'll get placed under explosive. And action 2, he's going to immediately nope out to Anlage Sud. Over to Stauffenberg. He doesn't share a space with an enemy. He's going to now roll his dice. 3 targets and an action. Well, I think we're going to turn 2 of those into actions, and I'll use the last one to recruit our last ally that's on the board right now. That is Admiral Wilhelm Canaris. Discard an item to remove a Gestapo file. I'll put him at the Berghoff. Are the actions only available at their location? Okay. So, yeah, I will have... Well, Anlage Sud isn't terrible. Wolfschanze only needs 2 dice. So for action 1, I'm going to discard the newspaper to remove a Gestapo file. Action 2, I'll move over to Wolfschlucht. Action 3, I'll use Tresco's action to remove another Gestapo file. Taking a listen to my print job, it sounds like it's probably done by now. But we are over to Beck's turn. No enemies in the space, so he gets to roll 3 dice. Alright, I'm going to make a separate discard pile. 2 actions and a target, which I'm going to turn that into 3 actions, since the ally space doesn't refill until we try a plot. If I'm feeling daring, I could try... If I'm feeling daring, I could try the plot now with Hitler, but I've got to roll 3 targets to go for it. Yep. Also, I need a signature. I need an access item to get in there. So, action 1... I'm going to move him to Wolfschanze. Action 2, I'll take a random item, so I will find a passport, which lets me cancel an interrogation. Action 3, we're going to wave sayonara to Himmler and move... actually, that's going to be waving Auf Wiedersehen to Himmler. My German is terrible. And I'll move it back up to the private office. Back over to von Stauffenberg. We're going to roll our 4 dice. Once again, no interrogation because we don't share a space. 3 actions and the target, I'll make that 4 actions. Action 1, I'll look through the stack of items. We've got badges, which gives me access to a plot in the Chancellery, signature, which I need for Smolensk, schedule to move Hitler anywhere, and an invitation providing access to a plot in the Berghof. Randomize those. Action 2 will collect an item. We do have a signature here that we're looking for. Schedule, though, that's not totally garbage. Action 3 will collect another item. Invitation, which gives us access to a plot in the Berghof, seems like another terrible idea. Action 4. I'm going to move over to the Berghof. Actually, no. We'll collect one more item. Badges, giving me access to a plot in the Chancellery, which takes 4 dice. Then over to Beck's turn. No interrogation, so we're rolling dice to see what we can do here. 3 actions. Okay, I don't completely hate that. Let's see, action 1, we will move down to the down to Wolfschlucht. Action 2, the last item here should be the signature. And it is, so that'll give me access to a plot in Smolensk if I'm feeling daring. Action 3, we'll move over to the Berghof. Over to Stauffenberg. No interrogations since nobody's there. 4 dice. Yuck. I'm going to use one of his reroll tokens because I don't want to deal with 2 interrogations. One interrogation, 2 targets, and an action, which I can turn those actions into... I can turn those targets into 2 more actions. That's probably fine. And then the eagle, which turns into an interrogation. Although, oh, never mind. It's Beck who's got the passport. So the interrogation for Stauffenberg. Remove a file token, then remove the 4 available allies from the game. Unfortunately, we've got no allies, so this would have been an option to flip it. Flip the Wolfschanze venue token to side B, or roll a die to try to resist, and Goebbels moves to the Wolfschanze. So he'll move there either way. And I'm going to try to resist. Which we do. We did roll an arrow, so we don't have to do anything. Which is kind of good and bad, because that would have been a way to get us new allies. But it would have also flipped Wolfschanze over, which currently only needs 2 dice for an assassination plot. Then we're going to roll 4 dice, and we'll see what we get here. So we've got our 4 dice. Let's see how this ends up going. 2 actions and 2 targets. I'm going to turn those 2 targets into actions. And Stauffenberg will have 4 actions once again. Action 1. I'm going to move over to the Berghof. Action 2. We're clear of Gestapo files, so I don't have to worry about that. Let's see. So action 1 to the Berghof. Action 2, we'll search the item stack. We'll see we've still got coffee, intel, detonator, and pistol. We might want to have Beck try to look for the pistol, see if he can find it. Action 3, he'll move over to Anlage Sud. And action 3, he's going to give Beck another plot item. He's going to give him the stamp, just in case Hitler moves over to Wolfschanze, as Demi now stopping by. So I'm giving Beck the stamp in case Hitler moves up to Wolfschanze. Actually, yeah, Wolfschanze right up here. Then action 4, he will move. Actually, he's going to go for another item now. So Stauffenberg will find intel that we can use to cancel Hitler's movement. Then over to Beck for his turn. He gets 3 dice, no enemy in the space to try to interrogate. Action and 2 targets. I'll actually turn that into 3 actions. Which I think action 1 will be digging through to see if we can find that pistol. We cannot, but coffee will be good for next turn. Action 2. Let's... I guess action 2 up to the Chancellery, and action 3 over to the Bender block. That way I can move anywhere I need to. And Stauffenberg, let's see what he's getting up to. Actually, we could conceivably use the schedule to move Hitler over to Wolfschanze if I want to have us try it, but let's see what we find first. 4 actions. Okay, I don't hate that. So I will go ahead and use the schedule to move Hitler over to Wolfschanze. They're having a meeting over there. We may have Beck try his luck over there. Action 1. We don't have any Gestapo files out right now. So I think action 1 is going to be to move up to the Chancellery. Action 2 to Bender block. Action 3, he'll take the passport from Beck. And action 4, he'll utilize Kornheim to move over to Smolensk. Maybe we can start getting some items off of that location. Then over to Beck, who's got 3 dice. What I actually need to do right now is I need to get Hitler. We might want to try to target in 2 actions. I'll turn that into 3 actions. I wish there was a way to get rid of Himmler and Goebbels from the board. Actually, I think there is a way. Maybe neutralized, but by specific allies. Okay, so 3 actions. Let's see. I do have the stamp, but I think I'm going to move. I'm going to use Kornheim to move to the Berghoff. Action 2, we find the pistol, so that's good. And action 3, we're going to move over to Anlage Sud. Then over to Stauffenberg. Once again, doesn't share a space with an enemy. We'll roll his dice. Wow, we're getting all the targets and all of the actions. So I'll turn those 2 targets into actions, and we'll have 4 actions to work with. Let's see. Action 1 is going to be to search through the item stack, see what we can find here. Maybe we can find some other goodies. We've got a stopwatch, which adds another die. briefcase to reroll a die, schedule to move Hitler anywhere, and 2 more explosives. Let's see, action 1 there. Action 2. We really don't have an action 2 right now because everything's full. I guess 2, 3. We are going to have to resolve an interrogation, though. And 4 will search through the Wolfschanze. We've got keys for Wilhelmstrasse, map as a reroll, 2 more detonators, and a passport. Hopefully, Demi and Philip, you guys are enjoying your Black Friday. And maybe you've got plans to take advantage of some deals. I've already taken advantage of a couple of deals that I wanted to take advantage of this year on Black Friday. That was a stack of items here. And that was Stauffenberg's turn. Over to Beck. We are going to use the coffee for 5 to get 2 more dice that we can roll for actions. Let's see what we've got here. That would be 4 actions and an interrogation card. Yeah, we can probably deal with that. So 4 actions and 1 interrogation. So we will find... Add a file token, then move a conspirator to Goebbels' location. Discard an item and a reroll, or roll a die to resist. Flip the venue token at Anlage Sud, then move Hitler there. So Hitler moves here. Add a file token, then move an investigator to Goebbels' location. Discard an item and a reroll token. Yuck. So I actually need a uniform now, but I will discard the signature and one of Beck's reroll tokens. So that'll be how I resolve that. I do need to get back to... Actually, I could have used the intel to cancel Hitler's move, which I think it's fine. So he's got 4 actions. Action 1, he's going to move up to Wolfschanze. Action 2, he's going to take the uniform from... Yeah, he needs the uniform. He'll take that from Stauffenberg. Action 3, he'll move back down to Anlage Sud. And Action 4, he's going to initiate a plot. So initiating a plot... let's see. At the cost of an action, be in this target location with Hitler and the access item, which are at Anlage Sud, and we have the uniform. Discard the access item and any other items we're going to use. So we're going to use the uniform, the explosives with the detonator, and the pistol. So that'll give me a total of 4 dice. So 4 dice. And no allies at Anlage Sud. So we can't use reroll tokens on plots. Target icons don't add on items or allies, don't add to the total. Alright. So we're going to roll, get exactly Bubkus. So that's 1 target, and we needed 3 there. So we'll roll dice for Himmler and Goebbels since they're still active. We would have gotten no effect, but unfortunately, we wouldn't have subtracted anything. So, plot ends in failure. Remove all ally tokens. Add file tokens immediately. So we add to there. And then Beck will have to resolve an interrogation card. He will resolve. Add a file token, then remove all. Actually, we've got to refill the. I think we established we had to refill the allies at the with the plot, I believe. Let's see. And roll the dice during a plot. Okay, so we do need to refill the ally display. We need 4 allies. Coming out first. Actually, you're supposed to refill and roll the dice during a plot. Okay. So we've got Field Marshal Gunther von Klug. Add a die to each plot. Then, Secretary Margaret von Oven. Flip the venue token at any location. Then for 3, we've got Colonel Wessel von Loringhoven. Search any stack taking an explosive on an action. And Resistance Typist Erica Tresco. Give an item to any conspirator. So that refills those. Then we add a file token from the recruitment track and any others rolled during this turn. We don't have any there. Option B is to remove 5 interrogation cards from the deck without revealing them, or try to resist. Move all 3 of them to Wilhelmstrasse. That happens regardless. I'm going to have to remove 5 interrogation cards from the deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Without revealing them. And that is unfortunately it for Beck's turn. So we're going to have to build up again to try another plot. Over to Stauffenberg. Two actions, 2 allies. Or 2 actions, 2 recruitment. I think we'll go with the recruitment. I think we'll use those actually as targets this time. Then for action 1, we're going to start gathering items again. We've got to rebuild a little bit. We also need to find another stamp, though. Well, actually, Beck's got the stamp. So action 1, he's going to pull an item. He will find keys, which gives me access to a plot in Wilhelmstrasse, only in my dreams right now. Action 2, he's going to move over to Smolensk. Over to Beck's turn. And since it is the start of his turn, we do have an option to... So we will pull these 2 off. And I'm going to recruit Marguerite von Oven so I can flip a location back. Let's see what we get here. Let's roll 3 actions. Okay. Action 1, we are going to use Marguerite to flip over the officer's mess again. So now that takes 2 dice. That's okay. Action 2, he's going to move up to Wolfschanze. And action 3, he's going to search an item. He will find a map that can be used in place of a reroll. Which rerolls, of course, don't work during plots. Over to Stauffenberg, who doesn't share a space with anybody right now. Three targets and an action. I think there are items... Actually, yes. I think we are going to recruit. When we recruit an ally, goes anywhere, right? I think we established in any open ally space. Yep. So we are going to use that to recruit. I'm going to recruit Field Marshal Gunther von Kluge over to the bunker at Wolfschanze. That'll give me an extra die on a plot there. Then, with only 1 action, Stauffenberg's going to search the item stack at Smolensk. Just to refresh my memory on what's here. Okay. We might want to bring Beck up here to do a little bit of item restocking, although we do need to find another detonator at some point. So that's a consideration as well. Back over to Beck. Speaking of Beck. Rolling for the turn. 2 targets and an action. I'm going to turn those 2 targets into actions, so we have 3 actions. Action 1, he's going to search the item stack at Wolfschanze. He will find a passport to cancel an interrogation. Action 2, he's going to collect another random item. He will find a detonator. Okay, I don't hate that. And I think action 3 was going to send us back to, I think Smolensk is where we had some explosives, so that's how we'll do that. Over to Stauffenberg. Three targets and an interrogation. Yeah, I think that's fine. So we'll take the 3 targets. That'll recruit. We'll use that to recruit Colonel Wessel von Loringhoven. Search any stack taking in explosives. And then we do have an interrogation card for Stauffenberg to worry about. He will find. Remove a file token, then set this card aside. Himmler rolls +1 die at the end of the next plot attempt. Flip the Wolfslucht token to side B and discard a reroll token or roll a die to resist. I think we're going to flip Wolfslucht to side B and discard a reroll token. And that's it for Stauffenberg's turn. Over to Beck. He gets an action, a recruit, and an interrogation. I'm going to use a reroll token because I don't want to risk the interrogation right now, especially if I need to go into one of these stacks for another set of explosives. Okay, that I can work with a lot better. We'll turn that into an action as well. Action 1, he is going to use von Loringhoven's action. I believe there were explosives in Smolensk. Right on the bottom. And I'll put that under the detonator. Okay, so that's actually very welcome. Action 2, we will move down to Anlage Sud, and action 3, we'll use Marguerite von Oven to flip any location. We will flip Smolensk back over, even though I don't think there were any signatures left. Alright, over to Stauffenberg next. 4 dice for him. We'll make that 4 actions because we don't need the recruit right now. Actually, we barely need the actions right now. Action 1, though, is going to be moving down to Anlage Sud. 2 is going to flip the Berghoff. 3 is going to flip Wolfslucht. And 4 is going to do what? 4 is going to give Beck, since he's probably going to be our plot man this time, or plot man again. Actually, he's got everything he needs to try again in Wolfschanze, so he's going to move over to the Berghoff, just in case we need to use an action to remove a Gestapo file. Over to Beck's turn again. We got a whole bunch of items we can dump if we need to. 3 actions for Beck. What do we even want to do at this point? I think action 1, we'll move up to Smolensk. Action 2 will collect a random item, which will be a briefcase for a reroll. That'll be useful. And Action 3, back over to Wolfschanze. Over to Stauffenberg. Three actions and a target, which we'll put that up there, on the recruitment track for the time being. Action 1. We also can't remove the Gestapo files from our locked section here, down toward the bottom of the board. So that's stuck there. Let me see if I can straighten this out a little bit. I think it's probably fine. Action 1. What do we want to do here? We've already flipped everything over, and there's really not much that we're even doing right now. I guess Action 1, back to Anlaj Sud. Action 2 to Smolensk. Action 3 will search. So stopwatch, explosives, and another schedule. Then over to Beck. If nothing else, we might want an interrogation just to break up some of that chaos. Which, yeah, we'll deal with an interrogation. We'll see how bad this could be. So our interrogation, add a file token, then remove all targets from the recruitment track and any others rolled this turn, so we can't do that. Remove all the 4 available allies from the game and reveal new ones from the stack, or try to resist. Actually, this would be add a file token, then remove all. I believe if it can't be. Is it a case of if it can't be resolved fully? Once you resolve the interrogation, you must also resolve the event at the bottom. Okay. So, let's see. Once you resolve the interrogation. Okay, so it looks like we resolve as much of it as we can. So I will remove the last ally, so that's Erika von Tresco. And then we'll add 4 new allies. So that's actually a pretty good one. So our first ally going out is General of the Army, or the Artillery, Fritz Lindemann. Move an enemy to an adjacent location. So we can use that to maybe start moving them around. Next up is General Erich Felgebel. Reroll 1 die here during interrogations. Makes resisting more of an option. Next up, Admiral Erwin von Lauhausen. Enemies are ignored in this location. Ooh. And Major General Rudolf von Gersdorf. Ignore eagles rolled in this location. Those are some powerful allies. So we probably want to try to pull one of them off the track. So that was the eagle that we resolved. We also have to resolve the event. Hitler to the Berghoff, so they break up. Goebbels to Wilhelmstrasse, except he's already there. Himmler to Wolfschanze. Beck is going to wave... It's going to wave Toodaloo to Himmler, I think. Is there an option to try to take the deputies out? No, there is not. So I was gonna, if they were gonna stay there, I was maybe gonna try to put I was gonna maybe try to put Lauhausen up there. So we resolved the interrogation. I'm going to take the die. I'm going to take the target and I'm going to put that up on the recruitment track, and Beck only needs 2 to recruit. He'll take Abwehr official Erwin von Lauhausen, put him up at Wilhelmstrasse, so we don't need to account for Goebbels on plots. Let's see. One action for Beck is going to be to move to Anlage Sud. We do need to get Hitler back here at some point. Let's see what Stauffenberg is doing. The noose is very much closing in on us. So let's see if we can deal with it. We've got 2 recruits and 2 actions. I can work with that. So action 1 will be not even that good, really. We're pretty full on items here. Stauffenberg is all the way up in Smolensk, too. That's going to be down to Anlage Sud. And I think we're going to forfeit action 2. Because there's really not much I can do right now. Items are full right now. So that'll send us over to Beck. We do need to find an invitation, though. Which Stauffenberg's actually got an invitation right now. But Beck's going... Actually, this is going to work out very nicely because Beck will spend the map in place of a reroll token to reroll. That'll free up an item space. Two actions. Okay, so, and a target, but he also gets to recruit. He will recruit... He's going to recruit Fritz Lindemann. Put him down here at Anlage Sud. For actions, we can move an enemy to an adjacent location. So we are going to use that for 2 actions to move Himmler to Wolfschanze, or from Wolfschanze to the Chancellery, and back to Wilhelmstrasse. That was Beck's 2 actions. Right, we use the target. The targets were existing there to recruit. We'll leave 1 up there. We'll shortcut that. Over to Stauffenberg. Now we need to figure out a way to get Hitler into Anlage Sud. Two actions, 2 targets. Yes, we will use the 2 allies to recruit. Or we'll use the 2 targets to recruit. We will recruit General Erich Feldgeibel. That lets us reroll a die during interrogations. Then for 2 actions, he's going to move... do we risk it here? Because we've got... Actually, we need to get that uniform. Actually, you know what? I've got a better idea. Let's do it this way. I'm going to use the 2 actions on Fritz von Lindemann to move an enemy to an adjacent location. So that'll move Hitler to Anlage Sud, and then we'll move him up to the bunker. That's how we'll do that. Then over to Beck. We're definitely gambling here, but we are going to go for it. So we get the 3 dice. I need to see at least 2 actions here. And I get 3. That'll work even better. Okay, so action 3. So action 1. Beck is going to move up to Wolfschanze. Action 2. We're going to lay out everything. So we've got the stamp... Hold on. Where was our first failed plot? I think our first failed plot was... it was down here at Anlage Sud, but there were no allies at the time. So we're using the stamp to get access to the Wolfschanze. We've got explosives for 3 dice, and Field Marshal Gunther von Kluge gives us access to a 4th die. Okay, let's see what happens here. We need at least 2 targets, because that's what Wolfschanze says, and we've got to reroll. Ugh, even with the reroll, we're not getting anything there. So, yuck. Yeah, so we fail the plot. Those go away. We wouldn't have rolled for Himmler and Goebbels anyway. Do the items go away? Nope. Add file locations until the next lock space is filled. So now we have an interrogation to deal with. Let's see what we've got here. Add a file token, then flip the Chancellery venue token to side B. Remove 5 more interrogation cards. And Hitler's going to end up in the Chancellery. Let's see how many cards we have left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You know what? Let's add a file token, and then we'll move Hitler to the Chancellery. That was very unfortunate. Over to Stauffenberg. We might be able to recover for 1 more plot attempt. Actually, I think he's got 1 more action, which will be to move back to Anlage Sud. Now over to Stauffenberg. Three actions and a target, which I'll use the target for a recruit. Then action 1, up to Smolensk. Action 2 will search again. I want to see if I can find another detonator and explosives. Stopwatch, we've got the explosives. And action 3, over to Wolfschanze. Over to Beck. We'll turn that target into an action, so he's got 3 actions. Action 1, back to Smolensk. Action 2, looking for an item, he will grab a stopwatch to add a die. Action 3, he'll grab another item, which we schedule. We can move Hitler to any location. Back to Stauffenberg. He gets 1 more die. He'll already have at least 3 actions. 4. So we're only going to have 1 more shot at this, so we've got to make it count. The dice have not been cooperative today, though, that's for sure. I think we're going to go 1, 2, using Wilhelm Canaris. We'll discard the badges, giving us access to a plot at the Chancellery to remove this file token. And action 4, we'll draw the last item at the Berghof. We'll find a detonator. Okay, so we need to get that over to Beck as fast as we can. Especially if we can find the explosives. Unfortunately, we've only got 2 items left. And I'm probably going to use the 2 of them to go hunting. I'll use those as 3 actions. So we absolutely need to find explosives. Action 1 is going to be trying to do that here, which he will do. 2, 3, with the idea of getting the explosives into somebody's hand. Probably Stauffenberg. But let's see what he can do with his turn. We'll make that 4 actions. Action 1, he'll take the explosives from Beck. Action 2. Where are we going to try to roll? Action 2, he's going to give Beck intel. I'm moving items around at this point. Action 3, he'll take the briefcase. And action 4, he's going to Action 4, what is he going to do? He's going to move back over to Anlaj Sud and gamble. That will be able to move Hitler into place at the Berghof, but this is going to be our last chance at it. Over to Beck, it's also entirely possible we might end up with an interrogation card that moves Hitler. 2 targets and an action, which I will turn one of those into an action, and I'll use that to recruit Major... what the hell is his name? Major General Rudolf von Gersdorf. So I'll put him in... I'll put him at the Chancellery. Then action 1... He's actually going to use the schedule as a free action. Excuse me, that'll move Hitler to any location. I'm going to move him to the Berghof, which is where I need him to be. So that was a free action. We've got 2 actions. Action 1 over to up to the Chancellery. Action 2 to Bendler Block. Then we're over to Stauffenberg's turn. We need at least 2 actions to even have a shot at trying this plot. Which we get none, and I need a reroll. I'm going to use a reroll. Because I don't want to deal with an interrogation process. Okay, that I can work with. We'll turn those into 4 actions. Action 1 over to the Berghof. Action 2, this is our last chance at it, so we're using the invitation and the explosives. We've got 3 dice. All of them need to be targets. We've got a reroll, but at least we can ignore Goebbels and Himmler. So that's not totally nothing, just mostly nothing at this point. But let's see how this roll turns out. And we get nothing. Well, we get 1 target, but even with the reroll... Actually, I should have given him the stopwatch. I don't think it would have made a difference. Let's say we had the stopwatch. Okay, that would have actually made a difference. But since we committed to that, we do place the last Gestapo files, and we have lost the game. So that'll do it for this playthrough of Valkyrie. I actually like this one. It's a quicker version of Black Orchestra. It's going to probably take me a couple plays to really get the hang of it, but I definitely didn't like the rules sheet, because the question of what happens with the allies was very unclear. So those refilled during a plot. We got to move a conspirator to an adjacent location, reroll a die, eliminate Himmler before he rolls, and roll 3 action dice. So that would have given us extra actions. But there are all kinds of allies that could potentially come out during the course of the game. You never know which ones you'll get until you start the game. And as for the items we lost more detonators. We wouldn't have had access to a plot in Wolfschlucht during this game. But that's just the nature of the beast. Anyway, that'll do it for this playthrough of Valkyrie, like I said. I will have another game on the channel later today. Actually, I'll have a couple games on the channel later today. One of which, of course, being Group 3 of the Fate of the Elder Gods tournament, when Jester and I will be live. But I'm not sure what game I feel like playing yet. We'll see what happens there. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care, everyone.